Howdy, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at the Hell Is Us extended gameplay trailer. This is easily the most anticipated game for me of 2025. Yes, even more than GTA 6. And I honestly say a little more than Elden Ring Night Reign. I love Elden Ring. I played a ton of that. I played zero of this, so that's how that's panning out. But it's a third person action adventure with like sci-fi elements. Chernobyl meets a Souls like is the best way I can describe it, but everything in the video will pretty much explain itself. So let's take a look.
Hi everyone, my name is Jonathan Jacques Delatay. I'm the creative director and the art director on Hell Is Us. I hope you enjoyed the trailer that you've seen recently. Today we're back in the spotlight. We're going to show you a bit of gameplay, a bit more than what you've seen in the trailer, and I hope that you can enjoy this part greatly. Alright, so let's start with the basics. So
It looks cool already.
Released in 2025.
Yes.
Pretty much everything. So Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, and PC. So the game is a bit of a take back to games from the 1990s. We're a team of passionate people. The average on the team is like 20 years of development experience. So we're from different generations, and we have a lot of love for how the games in the 90s were made and how they were played and experienced. Especially the fact that there was no hand holding, there was no silver platter.
Oh, I love it.
Had to figure stuff out by yourself.
Love to hear it.
You're really in control of your exploration and your own discoveries.
Oh, wait a minute.
And this is what we're trying to do in Hell Is Us, obviously with modern flair and kind of like modern
sensibilities,
game design and whatnot, but
yeah,
very much puts you back in the driver's seat of your experience and of your exploration, and then the resolve and the joy of your discoveries.
Oh
So,
man, I love to hear
takes
it.
place in a country called Haiti.
He's speaking my talk. He's speaking my language. Like, that's what I love to hear. One of the things that made Elden Ring so great, as opposed to like a lot of other open world games, is that Ubisoft element where here's the map, here's a bunch of tasks that after you've been playing those games for a certain amount of years, or even if that's your first experience with a game like that, it feels like tasks. There's nothing to discover because go here, talk to this person, find this item. That sense of discovery, you never know what's around the corner. And the way he's talking about it from the perspective of somebody who grew up playing and likely making games in the 90s, oh man, I'm excited.
Haiti is in the grips of a vicious civil war. Played the role of Remy. Remy is actually from Haiti. He was born there, but his mom smuggled him out at the age of 5, like it sometimes happens in those countries. And what I mean by that is Haiti is a hermit state, it's a turtle state, it's completely closed off on itself. Nobody goes out, nobody comes in. And that's why Remy's mom decided to smuggle him out so he can have a better life. He grew up in the foster home system, or the foster system in Canada. He's always wanted to come back to Haiti. He wants to find his parents again. He wants to kind of like confront them. He's got a lot of questions for them. He understands why they abandoned him, but yet, abandonment is pretty much the biggest trauma that a child can have. And there's like a loop that hasn't been closed properly for him towards this situation.
A clear, concise breakdown of the story, who we're playing as, why we're here, what our goal is, and then just let you discover from there. Like this, I'm excited, man. Like, I'm just hoping it does well. I hope it's commercially and critically successful. I'm excited.
Parents, when the game starts, Remy has finally been able to infiltrate Haiti during the brutal civil war that I was talking about. Remy is a ON peacekeeper. He quit his post, he went AWOL, infiltrated the country, and this is where the game starts. Remy remembers 2 things, and that means the players remember 2 things. It's that his village of birth was called Joba, and his father was the blacksmith of Joba. Those are the only clues you begin the game with, and these are the only clues that Remy also knows. So equipped with this knowledge, with these clues, you begin the game and you try to find your way to Joba.
You must be lost to wander around Cylindrical Point. I'm afraid I have very little to offer. A group of strange-looking soldiers arrived here last night in an APC. Perhaps you can ask them
Graphically, it looks really cool. He clearly is an art director, like you said. Clearly knows what he's doing because this looks great.
They will lead the way through. The gate to enter the woods is locked.
I don't know. I don't know if he'll say it, but I heard. I think he was the art director for Deus Ex, as well as Deus Ex: Human Revolution and Deus Ex: Mankind Divided.
Mentioned earlier, which is, I said the word silver plattering is something that I've been thinking about for quite a few years, and the team as well, which is if you look at modern day or contemporary adventure games and RPGs, pretty much everything is given to you on a silver platter. What I mean by that is when you explore, everything appears in front of you. You have your compass.
Yeah.
It's like a sixth sense, like a magical sense that detects, all the caves and all the cool stuff around you and the towers and this and whatnot. It just appears magically, and you have your map, and you have your mini map, and you have your quest markers, and you have your objective markers, and you can drop your own markers.
Cal.
You have your quest journals, and it just never ends. And if you think about it, what happens with that is that you're not truly exploring. You're just kind of like flying by wire, and when you find something, it's not really your discovery. It was kind of handed to you on a silver platter. So what you're looking at now is we're having a discussion with a bloke named Ernest Cadell. He's telling us certain information, and then he tells us it's quite far. You need to hitch a ride. You might find people that are willing to give you a ride. It's up to the north of my house, so you're gonna have to use your compass, but your real compass, right, with the coordinates on it, north, south, east, west, blah blah blah, and follow that. And he tells you that in the Lost Woods, in order to find your way out, just follow the wind chimes. He says, I've attached them there for my kids when they were young because they kept on getting lost in those bloody woods. And then he tells you, follow the sound of the wind chimes, and you'll find your way on the other side of the woods. That's how we do it. It's very organic. It's very realistic. Someone in real life could have told you the exact same thing. So the environment,
Oh my
the
God.
game are not just there to illustrate, they're there to communicate. So you need to play the game, you need to open your eyes, you need to open your ears to what NPCs tell you, and you'll find your way, and you'll discover things, and you will truly own your discoveries and the great joy that comes with that.
When people say gaming are dead, they only play Call of Duty, Madden. They're sad about the situation with Halo, but they don't really game like that. They don't really game like that, cause man.
So here's another scene or other section that could be considered
Okay.
part of our player plattering.
It has such a cool look about it, man. Sci-fi, Chernobyl, Souls-like, Soviet Russia.
There's not going to be any artificial kind of ways that are going to help him or tell him what to do, where he's not going to start talking to himself, or i.e. talking to the player with little clues in the way. It's really up to you to figure them out. And in the way that the player plattering is inserted in this, we have a good example here with your trusty drone named Cappy. By the way, you can tell now that Remy has his poncho, and he has his sword, and he has his drone. So it is after he's acquired them, right? Because at the beginning of the game, you saw he was not dressed like that. Now, there's a reason why he ends up dressed like this. There's a reason why he needs these things, this equipment, but we don't need to get into these details today. So anyway, there's an ancient language in the country, and you kind of find it throughout the game. And the drone has a software, one of his many softwares, and this specific one can translate the ancient language. So this puzzle, the way that it works, you need to kind of like explore and observe your environment around this specific puzzle in order to find the clues on how to solve it. You need the drone, your trusty Cappy, his name is Cappy also, there's something behind that of course, and you translate those old texts. It gives you little passages of a poem or a psalm or something like that, and through what they tell you and the order in which they seem to have to be pieced back together, you find your clues on what this puzzle does and how to solve it. So again, the players are kind of like just led to their own devices, but things are there, the answers are there, and you have to explore. And again, I repeat it, you have to open your eyes.
I'm hooked. I'm sold.
Figure it out.
I am absolutely sold. If this game gets an 8 or a 9, if it gets a 10, what? What?
Puzzles and all that kind of sweet stuff. But if you've seen the trailer, you of course notice that there's another big aspect of the game, which is third-person melee combat.
Yeah, buddy.
50% exploration and 50% combat. The game is not at all only about combat, and it's definitely not at all just walking around and figuring stuff out. It's the combination
Look at that sword. And look at that enemy. The spot, if you've seen the Spider-Man movies or read the comics, looks like the spot.
Subtleties, there's little things that we've invented just for the flair and the flavor of Hell Is Us. It's very crunchy. I think the friction is pretty good, and I hope you enjoy
Ooh.
it. So there's a wide variety of enemies in the game. So we have kind of like a more common enemy type, which we call the Hollow Walker. So it's these kind of humanoid.
Oh my God.
White enemies that you can see here with the holes in their faces and their chests and whatnot. So obviously there's a reason why they're called Hollow Walkers, and there's different types of them and different kind of tiers of strength.
That looks so fucking cool.
Facing pretty much the biggest.
So does that move?
It's what we call like a dual entity. So it's like Hollow Walker has a haze inside of it. So it's when the haze is present. I'm not going to get into the details right away of what the haze represents. It's all part of the lore and what you will figure out in the game.
Lore. I'm ready for it. Oh my God.
There's the herders, there's the fervents, and different types like that. But that's when you really need to master the combat system. That's when you start having to use all the tools and techniques at your disposal. The drone has tons of skills to upgrade it, and the drone is very much your little sidekick to help you in fighting multiple enemies at a time. He's not a sidekick in the sense where he talks and he has an AI. He's very much a drone that has its own protocol to do his crowd management during the combat. So you have your different weapons, you have Olympic skills, tactical weapons, which is basically you consider as magic, even though the game it's not considered magic, it's kind of like a scientific base to them. But that's when you really need to master all the little subtleties of the combat system, use all the tools in your arsenal and at your disposition, and get in the melee.
I'm speechless. I'm hooked. Like I said, like this is one that I'm definitely looking forward to.
Manage them and victorious. So like I mentioned, here specifically, you can see a combat against a limbic entity that has.
I wonder what the blue, the red one, and the green one, what's the difference?
Overwhelming because you're alone, but you got your trusty little Cappy. So you need to use its skill. So for example, Cappy has a skill where you can distract an entity, either a haze or a Hollow Walker. You can use the forward charge, which is one of my
Dope.
favorite. You also have the Typhoon. You have the super dash skill, which is another one of my favorites. You can start dashing sideways, forward, backwards, really, really fast. It gives you like this Japanese action game style. And then you also have your Olympic skill, so you need to find the glyphs in the game and you need to attach them to your weapons. And this is when you start getting powers that come from these weapons that allow you to take care of these enemies in much more powerful and kind of like impressive ways. That's when the VFX and the sound effects.
I don't know why this is slightly reminded me of Returnal. Maybe it's the enemies. I don't know why I'm thinking about Returnal, but that game was extremely difficult. Oh, I like that too. That's fire. Pimp Boy.
It's up to you to figure out what your kicker is. What I mean by kicker is what you're supposed to achieve at this specific moment, what you're actually looking for, where to look for it, and how to look for it, right? Remy and the players are at a ratio of information which is 1-1.
It's in Atkinson Marshes. It's quite a ways from here.
So one of the tools that we're providing you to still kind of help you a bit and manage this 1-1 kind of like knowledge ratio is your data pad. Think of it as a bit your investigation.
A Pimp Boy is basically a Pimp Boy, a sidekick.
So your clues, your leads, the important people that are related to your investigation, trying to find your parents and a lot more eventually, are all stored here. They're linked together by the relationships, and now it's up to you to go.
It reminds me of Stalker, Returnal, Chernobyl, the TV show. If you've never seen that, it's a mighty fine watch.
Areas can be quite wide open.
Mighty fine. Ben Ding says that. If you know, you know.
And as I spoke quite a bit already, the game is a whole
What is that?
where to go. So out of your main lead,
Also, the monolith in the back.
in your head of what you're supposed to do or where you're supposed to go at any given moment, you will also be attracted by a lot of points of interest or just little things in the environment that pique your curiosity. And as you walk towards them or explore, that's when you'll start also making a ton of like peripheral or side discoveries on your own, things that you cannot solve right away, or things that you might think that there's a thing to be done with it when there's none, and it's all part of the fun stuff and the kind of like experience that we're providing in the game. So as
Oh,
you
that's
see here,
morbid.
there's a tree with people that have been hung. Like I said, this takes place during a very vicious civil war between two different ethnicities in the countries that are still basically the exact same people. And you found this tree. It's actually not part of the golden path or not part of something tremendously important in the game, but there's still something around it. There's still something to be found, and it's probably
It adds flavor and context to the story and the world building. Love it, love it.
Find it, and even more of your own exploration and investigation to figure out what it's linked to and what you can do from it if you want.
Praise the great monolith.
So here we are in a dungeon game. So yes, the game has dungeons. This was really important to us. Like I said at the beginning, there's a bit of a love letter to games from the 90s. But one of the challenges was the game takes place in a contemporary setting. The game takes place in 1993, and yet we still wanted dungeons at the game. And I didn't want the dungeons to take place in an abandoned metro station or an abandoned factory because it's the modern era. I still wanted the dungeons to be very ancient things. And this brings us to another really important aspect of the game, or one of the very important themes of the game, which is history, historicity, deep history. So history that goes even before history. So there's a lot of mysteries and a lot of lore, and the origin of what's going on in the country and the link to the Civil War is all tied to that deep history and also what has happened since. I won't get into too much details because that will be part of another video for you guys, but you can see a bit of it here, and it shows you the varied palettes and moods and atmospheres that we have in the game, which also I think is something quite interesting and unique that we're doing in LSS. Thanks a lot. Thanks for being with us. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm extremely grateful to have you guys following us, the team as well. So just to repeat, the game Hell Is Us will be released in 2025 as Bout series, PlayStation 5, and PC. There's a lot more coming soon about the game. This is just the beginning.
Well, I'm going to be there.
Aspects of it and get into sometimes a bit of the minutia. So stay tuned and speak to you soon.
I'm locked in. What hell is us?
There's a lot more coming soon about the game. This is just the beginning. We'll explain other aspects of it and get into sometimes a bit of the minutia.
I'm about to take a screenshot.
And speak to you soon.
And then that's an absolute purchase. That's an absolute purchase, man. Absolute. 72-hour early unlock. I know $80 seems like a lot, but that's literally like September. So February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. You can save like 10, 15 bucks. That's not really a lot when you look at it like that, but this one is an easy purchase. I'm not going to rumble too much on. It comes out on September 4th, September 3rd, September 4th, September 5th. You won't be seeing me in real life. However, there'll be preview. I'll react to the next trailers. Definitely do a review. Definitely do a let's play. I don't know if we're still calling them that, but let me know if this looks as cool to you as it does to me. Let me know any other thoughts, opinions, concerns in the comment section below. Man, as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to be a small part of the larger world I'm building, Brandon World. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.